Alright, here's a quick little lesson on the G major chord, because after teaching for a lot of years I've noticed that a lot of people do it like this, which sometimes I'll do, but it's probably one of the worst ways to do G, where you'll see people that only know how to do this form of G chord, which sounds good too in certain cases, but really the absolute best way to learn the G major chord is it's going to feel like a C chord when you start learning it, because it's a little bit harder, so you want to sometimes learn the harder things first. So what you want to do is take your third finger and put it on the 3rd fret, and then we want to put our middle finger right here. Now this note's not that important, but just get in the habit of putting it in there. If you can't hear it, it doesn't really matter. But the trickiest note is this one. You gotta get your pinky all the way up there on the 3rd fret. Now, I have a huge stretch because this is nylon string guitar, but so then this finger you just want up in the air. So we have 3rd finger, 3rd fret, middle finger on 2nd fret, and then pinky all the way up there. And you strum all the strings. So that's G major. This is how I would practice it. Now one thing that always happens to people is their pinky does like this sort of a thing, where it curls like that. You don't want your pinky like that. So one way to correct the problem until you figure it out, and a lot of learning guitar is just moving your hands around until you figure out how to do something. It took me a long time to figure out how to do a lot of the chords. That's totally normal. And if you bring your thumb up more, then what will happen is as you bring your thumb up more, your pinky will curl. And if you keep your pinky more curled like that versus like that, then your fingers won't collapse. So when I play G, my pinky is nice and curled up and strong, and it could just be like this. So that's one way to do G. The other ways to do G are like this. I'm just going to show you all the ways to play G. This is the way you should practice it if you're new to guitar. It's also good to have a guitar teacher show you how to do this when you're first learning, but you could do it like this, like this. You could do it like this. You can do just the bottom note. I actually do this most often. You could do the bottom 2 notes. You could do it like this is a cool way. Instead of putting your pinky up here, you put your pinky right there. You can do G like this. You can do it like this. You can do it like this. You can do it like this. These are all just the ones I used out in open position. If you finger pick, you can do all sorts of different things. You can just do G like this. I'm not even playing that. Like that. So the point is when you first start learning guitar, you want to make sure that you make sure you get a teacher, or you watch enough videos to make sure you find out what the best shape is. Because if you get stuck with this form of G, it sounds good, but to my ear it sounds like really folky and country. And I tend to not use it as much. And if you're in the key of C, going to like that is a total nightmare. So, because when I'm in the key of C, I can just go like this. And you can do this, you can go. A lot of that stuff won't really make sense if you're a new guitar player until you've played for long enough, because to my ear also, like, this G just has that extra D. So basically the note B doesn't really occur in the chord unless you really stress this note. So it sounds just like a big power chord, whereas this one, that extra B right there sort of lends the chord like more of a sad sound. So effectively it would be like if you just went around playing this all the time, that other type of G that a lot of people get stuck with. Whereas as soon as you add in the 3rd, which is B, it's the note that makes it major, it sounds a lot more interesting. So one other exercise that I think is useful for playing G to really hear it, and I've been making some of my students do this lately, and it seems to be getting some results, is you strum this form of G, which you have to practice, and then you strum it like this, and I moved my pinky down to D. But I'm not even strumming this top string anymore. So I'm going to strum. And then I'm going to strum like this, so I'm not even going to hit the top string. And actually, when you play guitar, you don't always have to strum the full chords. Like when you first learn, you probably will. You'll strum, like if it's C chord, you'll strum from here all the way up, because you're just learning. But really, as you get better, you have a lot of control. Like you might hit one note, you might hit two, you might hit three notes, or if you use your fingers, you can hit odder combinations of three notes. So real quick, I'll just play something with G chord, and you can see how I would do it. So a lot of times, when I just start playing, I'll just hit like the bass. I know I'm going to go to a C chord, so I'm going to use some of the notes from the C chord. I'm going to go to C. You could go to F. What I was doing was I was basically using my pinky to go to add some of those notes. But that's already getting too advanced. I just wanted to point out the right way to do G when you're starting is like this. Don't get stuck. The worst way to do it is like that or that. This is just totally useless unless you're going to be doing some weird slides with your pinky. So avoid that way of doing G. I've seen too many people doing that lately. This is okay, but if you get stuck with it and you don't learn this, all your music's can sound like, basically it's getting up sounding like open mic night music. Because people just go, they learn like some song that uses that shape and then all their songs sound like it, and it's not good. So make sure you learn the one that looks like C. That's it.